Welcome back. The news in details. President Abdel Fattah alSissi directed to supply all the necessary services to the new urban communities in accordance with the highest standards and through depending on local produced high-quality materials. The President's directives came during his meeting on Monday with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and Minister of Housing alAzhar, where they discussed the executive state of a number of national projects implemented in the new administrative capital and new cities by the Housing Ministry. During the meeting, Ghazar briefed President alSissi of the executive state of the finishing works in Aswan new city. The head of state also reviewed the executive status of developing a number of roads in the north coast, including the Alexandria-Matruh coastal road. President Abdel Fattah alSissi on Monday met with Director General of the National Service Projects Authority of the Armed Forces, Major General Walid Abul Majd. The meeting was attended by Chairman of the Board of Directors of Bill Color Company for the leather industry, Hisham Ghazar, and Chairman of the Board of Directors of Showroom Company for Trade, Sayyid Farag. Presidential spokesman Bassam Radi said that the meeting dealt with a review of the national project to establish the first factory of its kind for leather tanning in the Middle East and Africa in terms of size and advanced industrial technology, as well as recycling leather waste and converting it into organic fertilizers and environmentally friendly products in partnership with Italian expertise. The President directed to immediately start the establishment of the factory in accordance with the highest international technological standards and the provision of all modern machines and industrial technologies necessary in this context, whether for tanning leather or recycling its waste for the manufacture of fertilizers. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli held a meeting on Monday to review the implementation of the projects of the Suez Canal Economic Zone. The meeting was attended by Head of the Suez Canal Authority, Admiral Osama Rabia, Head of the Suez Canal Economic Zone Authority, Engineer Yahya Zaki, and Head of the Engineering Authority of the Armed Forces, General Abdel Fattah. Madbouli pointed out that the meeting aims at reviewing progress achieved in the ongoing infrastructure projects within the framework of President Abdel Fattah alSissi's mandate to consider projects of the Suez Canal Economic Zone a top priority on the government's agenda. Under the auspices of President Abdel Fattah alSissi, the Egyptian Supreme Constitutional Court, headed by Councillor Said Marei, concluded the 5th Conference of the African Constitutional Courts, which convened in Cairo over the past 3 days. The meeting was attended by heads of the African Constitutional Courts as well as senior Constitutional Courts judges from 40 African nations, as well as a number of international observers. Concluding the meeting, the Cairo Declaration was issued to stress on the importance of drawing up policies and taking measures to enhance the role of the judiciary in combating terrorism in Africa. The declaration also called for alleviating threats and challenges created by the coronavirus pandemic. It has been decided that the 6th Conference of the African Constitutional Courts will be held next year in Cairo. Egypt is keen on holding the annual conference to boost the African judiciary systems and to build a comprehensive unified legal environment capable of facing challenges and forming a joint future for the continent. Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry held a meeting with Iraqi counterpart Fouad Hussein in the Qatari capital Doha, during which he asserted Egypt's support to Iraq against any threats jeopardizing its security or stability. Foreign Ministry spokesman Ahmed Hafiz wrote on his social media account that the two top diplomats discussed means of fostering bilateral relations and boosting joint economic cooperation. He added that the foreign ministers exchanged views over current challenges facing the region and means of activating all political paths for the Arab issues in a way that preserves the Arab national security. Earlier, Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry met on Monday with his Qatari counterpart, Sheikh Mohammed Abdel Rahman Al Thani, in Doha. Delegations from the two sides attended the meeting. During his visit to Qatar, Shoukry is to meet with the Qatari Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani to deliver a message from President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi regarding the positive developments of the Egyptian-Qatari relations. Shukri will also attend the extraordinary session of Arab foreign ministers to discuss the developments of the Ethiopian dam, which will be held upon the request of Egypt and Sudan. A Palestinian delegation headed by Deputy Prime Minister Ziad Abu Amr held on Monday meetings with several Egyptian officials in the framework of joint coordination for the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip. The meeting also come within President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's initiative to support the Palestinians in the Strip. During the meeting, Abu Amr conveyed Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas's greetings and appreciation to President al-Sisi, while asserting the significance of the Egyptian-Palestinian partnership in all fields. The Palestinian Prime Minister also confirmed his country's readiness to shoulder its responsibility in Gaza's reconstruction process and to continue coordination with Egypt in a way that serves the interests of the Palestinian people. And Minister of Defense General Mohammed Zaki met on Monday with Commander of the U.S. National Guard, General Daniel Hackenson, during his official visit to Egypt. The meeting tackled a number of issues of mutual concern in light of the current international and regional developments and its reflection on the Middle East security and stability. General Zaki stressed on the significance of the Egyptian-American partnership relations, asserting Egypt's keenness on boosting aspects of joint military cooperation. For his part, Hackenson hailed the strong relations between the armed forces of both the U.S. and Egypt, expressing hope that the future witness more cooperation in a way that serves the interests of the two countries. The meeting also witnessed signing of a partnership agreement between Egypt's armed forces and the Texas National Guard. Egypt condemned on Monday the Houthi militia's continuous terrorist attacks against Saudi Arabia. Egypt reiterated its full support to Saudi Arabia and its measures to preserve the kingdom's security and stability and protect its citizens. The statement said that such terrorist attacks are a flagrant violation to the international law and a clear threat to regional peace and security. This comes as Saudi state media reported that a bomb-laden drone launched by Yemen's Houthi militias crashed into a Saudi school on Sunday, despite growing diplomatic efforts for a ceasefire between the warring parties. No injuries were reported in the strike in the southern Nasir province. The reported attack comes 3 days after the Saudi-led coalition fighting the Iran-linked militias said it had stopped carrying out attacks in Yemen in order to pave the way for a peaceful settlement. Head of the National Media Authority Hussein Zain met on Monday with Lebanon's Minister of Information Manal Abdel Samad, accompanied by Lebanese media advisor Rahab Abu Zain. The meeting tackled means of pushing forward joint cooperation in the field of information and media through the exchange of programs, joint production and training courses. Zain stressed on the significance of activating cooperation between the authority and the Lebanese ministry to reach a positive feedback at both professional and economic levels, and called for continuous coordination with the Lebanese side in order to get successful media coverage to all important events and current issues. For her part, the Lebanese minister expressed keenness on boosting cooperation with the authority, which she said is a great media edifice that got distinguished capabilities and expertise. She also asserted the importance of setting mutual training programs that qualify to a good media work. Meanwhile, the minister visited a number of studios of the National Media Authority and praised the modern and professional techniques used there. Grand Imam of AlAzhar Sheikh Ahmed al-Tayyib said that Israel's insistence to hold the so-called March of Flags around the Holy Mosque of Al-Aqsa is a new provocative act and the latest in a series of criminal plots. Al-Tayyib added that the move is part of the propaganda of Israel's extremist far right at the expense of the rights of the peaceful Palestinians. The Grand Imam of AlAzhar called on Arabs, Muslims and peacemakers to prevent the Israeli violations which led to more violence and destruction. The call came as the March of the Flags, which had been scrapped a week prior because of its route through flashpoint zones of the occupied East Jerusalem, is expected to proceed. Welcome back. Egypt's stock market indices fluctuated in Monday's trading session amid selling and purchasing operations by investors in both directions. The benchmark EGX30 index went up by 0.47%, while the EGX70 index for small and medium businesses slid by 1.59%, and the broader index, EGX100, also slid by 1.28%. The market capitalization lost about £731 million to close at £634.96 billion amid transactions of about £7.3 billion.